Let me tell you a little story. Almost exactly a year ago, on the 25th of September 2024, a Supreme Court bench passed a seminal order. The bench said, casual observations may reflect a certain degree of individual bias, particularly when they are likely to be perceived as being directed against a particular gender or a community. Courts, therefore, have to be careful not to make comments in the course of judicial proceedings which may be construed as being misogynistic or prejudicial to any segment of our society. The bench made these observations because a Karnataka High Court judge had called a Muslim-dominant area of Bangalore, Pakistan, an objective fact by all accounts. There are several areas in India which mirror Pakistan, not because of the majority Muslim population, but because the violent and jihadi conduct of those Muslims. There are areas like Parga, which were declared in ISIS territory. There are areas where Sharia courts operate with little oversight. And then there are areas where women are lashed in Taliban style. There are other areas where Hindus are attacked and massacred merely for being Hindus. What should one call these areas if not Pakistan? The court, however, was furious. The bench observed that justice should not only be rendered as an objective fact, but also perceived to be rendered by every segment of the society. This essentially means that even if a judgment is legally sound, the parties who approach the court should feel like justice has been delivered, and that would only be possible if the judiciary is believed to be fair and unbiased. Fair. Even though the Karnataka High Court judge was not off the mark, the observation by the Supreme Court bench is fair. It makes sense. The court should indeed stick to the law and its interpretation. What makes the judgment interesting is who delivered it. The bench was made up of 5 judges. 2 of them were Justice Surya Kant and our current Chief Justice of India, BR Gavai. Do you remember who Justice Surya Kant is? The very judge who vilified Nupur Sharma. The very judge who dismissed the threats of gang rape and beheading, saying, it's okay, threats are there every day. The very judge, along with Justice Pardiwala, who said it was Nupur Sharma who set India on fire with her comments, not the Muslim man whom she was responding to, and certainly not the Muslim jihadis who beheaded Kanhaiya Lal and flaunted their blood-soaked machete. It was Nupur Sharma. It was Justice Surya Kant who had said that Nupur Sharma was a woman with a loose tongue. It was indeed Justice Surya Kant who vilified the victim because she was a Hindu. Vilified the victim because the ones going on a rampage were supposedly aggrieved Muslims. Was justice delivered, you think? Was justice even perceived to be delivered? Or should justice only be rendered and perceived to be rendered when facts are stated about the Muslim community? But I digress. The other judge who slammed the Karnataka High Court judge and asked him and others like him to moderate their behavior was Justice BR Gavai, our current CJI. Gavai, by the way, is the first Buddhist and only the second Dalit judge to be made the Chief Justice of India. He had admitted, in fact, that his appointment to the Supreme Court was to ensure the representation of Dalits in the judiciary. On the 16th of September, a Hindu petitioner approached the Supreme Court begging for a Lord Vishnu Murti to be restored, a Murti which the Mughals had beheaded. Gavai said that this would come under the domain of the ASI. But saying this, he also added, this is purely a publicity interest litigation. Go and ask the deity itself to do something now. You say you're a staunch devotee of Lord Vishnu, so go and pray. For Hindus, this remark cut deeper than the centuries-old wound inflicted by Mughal swords. It echoed a familiar taunt. If your gods are real, why didn't they protect themselves? This Hinduphobic trope, weaponized for centuries by Islamist rulers and modern-day secular elites, has now found a resounding endorsement in the Chief Justice of India. The very Chief Justice who had once observed that judges need to moderate their behavior. The very CJI who had observed that justice should not only be delivered but perceived to be delivered. Angry Hindus, rightfully so, took to social media to express their angst. One common response was, would he say the same about Muslims? Would he tell Muslims to go pray to Allah? Let me answer on behalf of Mr. Gavai. No, he would not. Why? Because everyone likes their head attached to the rest of their torso. This asymmetry flows from a stark reality. Minorities enforce their sensitivities on the streets. Hindus, on the other hand, seek redressal in the courts. When Muslim feels insulted, they exercise their street veto. They erupt in protests, block roads, and chant Sar Tan Se Juda. Which is why it was important for the bench to ask judges to moderate themselves, not because justice must be perceived to be delivered, but those with a sword in their hand must never feel wronged. They must never feel offended. They must never feel slighted. Not the Hindus. The Hindus can be taken for granted after all. But that is not the point. I frankly don't give a damn whether the courts ask Muslims to pray to Allah to have their grievances addressed. I don't really care. What I do care about is how the judicial system in Bharat, in the civilizational and ancestral land of Hindus, entrenches Hinduphobia and finds freedom to insult. Gavai should have simply asked the petitioner to approach the ASI, but he chose to mock Hindus and their faith using the same tropes that jihadis use. He believed Hindus, as usual, would be silent. After all, Hindus fear contempt proceedings almost as much as the machete of the jihadis. But Hindus, at least this time, spoke up. And when they did, the heat got too much. Gavai offered a half-hearted explanation. He didn't think it was necessary to apologize. Hindus are no Muslims after all. He claimed that his comment had been misrepresented on social media and that he respects all religions. He claimed that the comments were made in the context of the supervision of the temple coming under the ASI. We said it in the context of the ASI, he said. He did not bother to explain how the comment was relevant in the context of ASI. He did not explain how he believes in all religions. He did not even explain how he respects all religions when he specifically chose to insult just one. The fact is, Mr. Gavai, you don't respect all religions. The judiciary in particular does not respect all religions, and you are a product of this very system that believes that Hindus can be insulted with impunity. You, Mr. Gavai, are a product of the same system that produced a Fakhruddin, the Haryana judge who had said that Hindus have no power against Muslims. The very judge who had told Muslims, you come with a pistol, I'm here, I'll take care of everything. You, Mr. Gavai, are a product of the system which produced a Suryakant and a Pardiwala who found support from the Taliban for their insidious comments against Nupur Sharma. You, Mr. Gavai, are a product of the same system which produced Justice K.M. Joseph, who smiles when the genocide of Hindus was mentioned. You, Mr. Gavai, are a product of the same system which produces a Justice Madan Lokur who pisses on the death skull of Ankit Sharma by shielding jihadis. You, Mr. Gavai, are a product of a system which was created by brown sahibs and their white masters who wanted to civilize the dirty Hindus, who wanted to suck the last strain of life and blood to harvest the heathen souls and sacrifice them at the altar of the one true God, who wanted to keep Hindus ashamed of their language, their civilization, their faith, their culture, and the land that is soaked in the blood of their ancestors, a land they fought for, died for, and became one with. Those brown sahibs who saw Hindus as barbarians, as fodder and as mortar and as sacrificial lambs. It is a myth, your dishonor, that we shed the vestiges of our colonial past at the stroke of the midnight, magically somehow by divine intervention. The truth is, your dishonor, we merely dressed up colonial tyranny in brown clothes, and you didn't even bother to change clothes. You don the same black coat which is now used as a mask for your colonial hangover and dreams to subjugate the heathens. You're not sorry, Mr. Gavai. You're not sorry because this system, which systematically encourages, even rewards Hinduphobia, is the one that gave you the black coat, which you use today as a cloak to spread hate against Hindu. You, sir, have no moral right to sit in judgment. Not now, not ever.